Welcome to The Reinvented Life with Pamela Chanel David. Do you want to step up your game? Pursue your dreams. Be the best version of yourself. The Reinvented Life is here to help. The Reinvented Life is about courage. It's about staying relevant. It takes grit. It defies gravity. It's about taking inventory of where you are today and where you want to go. Embrace change. Make things possible and reinvent your life. Call in with questions at 888-994-4995. Now, it's time to reinvent your life with Pamela Chanel.
Well, happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to the Reinvented Life. Today we have the guest of all guests. I cannot wait till you meet her. And this is a woman truly that has reinvented your life. Her name is Courtney Epps. You'll meet her here in a minute. You're going to get upfront and personal with her. This is real talk. And this is what we love to do at the Reinvented Life. We love to bring you people that are out there in the world in constant reinvention, doing things for humanity, and the likes of which this woman is doing it is unparalleled. So let's bring her on. We're going to have an incredible conversation with the founder of OTB Tax, Courtney Epps. How are you today?
I'm doing amazing, Pamela. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. You know, there's few times in life where you meet someone and instantaneously you're gravitated to them. And you are one of those. Here we are, having met each other, gosh, almost a year ago at this point, just having such poignant conversations over this year, learning from each other, really elevating each other. And I'm so in admiration for what you're doing. So you are the founder of OTB Tax. Why don't you go ahead and share with our listeners and our viewers a little bit about what that is? And then we'll get into some questions about how you got there. But why don't you share with us a little bit about your business?
So OTB Tax, a little bit about me. I'm an international author and speaker, and I own an accounting firm and have owned that for the last 19 years. So it's definitely grown massively in the last 3 years, from about $7,500 a month to $270,000 a month. So it's been incredible growth, and we've been able to help a lot of people. But what our main focus is not necessarily tax preparation or doing bookkeeping, what typical accountants do. What we do is we're really trying to free up money for people. So, when people ask me what I do, it's like I'm a motivational tax strategist. I work alongside speakers, coaches, trainers, network marketers, and nonprofits, and I free up money. And so I free up money that people didn't know existed. And, that's one of my superpowers that I realized that I had, because for the longest time, I hated accounting. Actually, for about 16 years, I hated it. And 3 years ago, I went to a Tony Robbins event, and it made me realize, man, I really could change people's lives with the tax strategy that I have implemented for myself. And that has been truly amazing. We've been able to help lots of people and save millions and millions of dollars. And, the impact on what we're doing from there is just even, I guess it's the same, as equivalent, but it's also so much greater to be able to feed more people and free more people. And, it's been an amazing ride so far.
Incredible. So here you are. You've had all this success. From how I hear you, you've only just begun. I know where you're heading. But share a little bit. This show is all about reinventing. This show is all about how can people put things in their lives, give their gifts to the world, and give the opportunity for people to receive those gifts. And one of them is the wisdom that you've gotten. And part of that, unfortunately, that wisdom is the hardships. And in a world like today, that we can't even begin to fathom the next minute, let alone the next hour, let alone the next day of what's going on. You have managed to overcome some real personal hardships. And what we really
Yeah.
want to get into is what you're doing today. But I do want people to understand the grit. I want people to
Yeah.
understand the tenacity that you've gone through. So if you could just share a little bit about that, I think people will find it really helpful.
Yeah, so, I didn't, I tell people all the time, it's like I help people take the road less stupid. And what that looks like is that, 10 years ago, I owned a really large insurance and accounting firm, insurance agency and accounting firm, had about 3,500 clients. I was short some cash flow, a couple $1,000 every single month. And I ended up, making a decision because of some things going on with a custody battle and some personal issues with my children. I decided to put that business up for sale. And I sold it to a con artist, and the guy I sold it to, literally after 4 months, he stopped paying me. I was $250,000 in debt. I had a 5-year non-compete in the entire state of South Carolina for anything involving insurance and accounting. And I was just kind of in between a rock and a hard place because I could not start over, and I couldn't work for anyone because I had $9,000 a month in debt. So there was no getting a job to work my way out of it. So, I kind of hit rock bottom. I literally filed I filed for bankruptcy and had to voluntarily withdraw my bankruptcy because I didn't realize that in this country, you can actually not make enough money to pay for and actually go through with a Chapter 11. And so it was like, well, we hit rock bottom. It's time to move up from here. So, for a while, until I could get out of the non-compete, which would not have held up in court. So I know that people tell me all the time, it's like, it wouldn't have held up. No, you're exactly right. But the problem is every time I tried to get a job, I couldn't start over with my accounting practice fast enough. And every time I tried to get a job, the owner of that company would threaten to sue the owner of the company that I was trying to work for. So I was completely unemployable. So I started a little fundraising company out of my house, working with our children. We had 6 children at the time, and we just kind of started over. And I slowly built my accounting practice because I didn't understand how to build a practice that worked year round. And until 3 years ago, when I got involved in the Tony world, and I realized all the things that I could literally take what I lost and how I lost, and the reason why I made stupid decisions, and help other people not go through that. So along my career, I've lost everything I owned back in 2011. We lost it again about 2.5 years ago due to mold exposure. We lived in a house that was infested with mold and didn't know anything about it. And on top of that came some massive medical issues and about 6.5 months of having no memory. So it was kind of crazy. And, along the way, I've learned that things are given to you. I don't think necessarily, and I don't know that, if everybody here believes in God, and if you don't, I completely understand that. But I believe in a higher power, and I believe that things happen for the greater good. And sometimes you have to go through things to just tell you and teach you this is not the path that you're supposed to be on. And I think that's kind of every single time that a door has been closed in my face, literally, and we've lost everything. It's like, oh, well, I wasn't supposed to go that way. Now I'm supposed to go this way and move forward. And, one of the things, well, I'll tell you the 4 things that really got me that I sat in a room with Tony Robbins 3 years ago. June 30th would be 3 years ago. And I was a broken human being. One, I was scared to death to start over and become a professional. So in the process of building a fundraising company and trying to build up my accounting career, I actually got involved in network marketing, and I loved it. I fell in love with the concept. I fell in love with the fact that I could help other people not only save money in taxes, but also make money in taxes. And that's really what got me excited, that in the home-based business industry, I knew the massive tax advantages around it. So, but I was broken inside, like I was scared to death to become a professional again. And I think that's why I would not allow my accounting practice to go another level. And June 30th, I didn't have we didn't have an email. Like, I didn't have a company email. I would tell my clients every year, like, I'm probably going to be doing network marketing full time next year. So you probably don't want to, I'm probably not going to be doing accounting anymore, because I was just so scared to allow that to be part of my life. And I didn't have, I wasn't consistently trying to get business. So I was trying to build network marketing, and I just kind of shut down, and I was not in a very good place. And I realized that one day that if you allow yourself to continue to be a failure and never attempt to succeed, you'll always be a failure. And that was probably the one biggest thing for me, because it was like, it wasn't the fact that I lost my business. It was the fact that I lost 3.5 years of my children's lives building a business for 100 hours a week. And I had nothing to show for it other than debt. And so the four things that I learned was I had massive limiting beliefs, and I learned how to overcome those. And that was actually attracting the wrong type of clients for me. I was undervaluing myself, which led clients to undervalue me as well. And then I was self-sabotaging myself. So anytime I would get to a point where I felt like I could become a professional again and really start a career back in the accounting space in a full-time scale, I was really scared. And so those were three. And then I realized the fourth one, which I think is probably the most important, is that no matter what you're going through, you can choose to be happy, sad, miserable, grateful. You can choose how to embrace that whole, the change, right? So you get to choose that. And those are the four things I learned. And literally the next day, I got $6,000 a month in accounting clients and residual income that were CFO clients, my first ever CFO clients. And then it's just skyrocketed from there.
And so what you're describing, I mean, we could spend an hour show on any one of those, but those limiting beliefs, this is what we talk about all the time at the Reinvented Life. It's so interesting how all of us, myself included, had such limiting beliefs about what we could do and what we could achieve. And literally releasing those, you're able to turn those obstacles into triumphs. I mean,
Yes.
what you've overcome is so important for people to understand, because it isn't like this has always been perfect for you. It isn't like it's always been wonderful. Just having spent time with you on the health problems that happened from that mold exposure is, again, topic for an entire show. But what it reminds me of is that we have to pay attention. We have to pay
Yes.
attention to what's going on in our lives and be real with it and get real with it. And because you had that moment, let's call it the Tony Robbins moment, where you realize those incredibly four things about yourself, you have not only been able to change your personal life around and that of your family, and now I've had the great pleasure of meeting your children, and the quality of those children is just not to be believed. The respect, the humility. I mean, kudos there, because we have a lot of parents that are listening on this show. And one of the things I realized in watching you with your children is that they're seeing everything. They're seeing someone that didn't give up. They're seeing someone that went from something very small to very big. And your love for those children, and now taking that love and pouring that love literally around the world, is incredible. And this is what I want people to understand, that when you remove those limiting beliefs, then you've done just that. You have no limits. And so now what you're doing is incredible. Not only the figures you mentioned has your business skyrocketed, but what you're able to do for humanity. And given the world, given what we're going through, given the injustice, given the insanity of what we're seeing go on, to watch you, to learn what you're doing for children around the world, it's why I wanted to have you on here. It's you are a beacon of light. And so I thank you for that. Share with us a little bit Yes. And share with us, you're welcome. Share with us who you've partnered with, what you're doing. I know you have two very distinct big initiatives going on. Why don't we start with Mana Relief and share a little bit about the history of your involvement with that and now what you're able to give back to that?
Yes, so super excited. We actually added a third, and I'll talk a little bit about them. I'll be very brief, but what Manna Relief has done for the last 20 years, they've actually worked to eradicate childhood malnutrition. And so, number one cause of death, disease, and disability in our world is malnutrition. And so, the sad part is we're not getting the products, we're not getting the food, the nourishment that we truly need. And obviously, in third world countries, it's much, much worse. And so, Manna Relief is the only nonprofit in the entire world that actually provides whole food, plant based nutrition to children as opposed to synthetics. And so, if you understand anything about health, your body, especially if you're malnourished, it cannot break down synthetics. So, it either goes through your system or it stores in your fat tissue, in your gut, and it's just not good. It's not a good thing. And so, I fell in love with what Manna Relief was doing. The founder is actually one of our clients, and we wanted to be a part of that. So I obviously wanted to read the tax code. I understood Tom's shoes and the whole buy one give one model, and I knew that there had to be some tax benefits in order to give from a gross income level. And back in 2018, when all of the changes were made in the tax code and they increased the standard deduction from having that, I can't remember what it was now, $12,000 a year to $24,000 a year, what happened, I knew that nonprofits were actually going to start losing money. Because if people, yes, some people are going to give from their heart, but some people were giving to get a tax deduction. And when they realized there was no more tax deduction for them, because most people don't have enough to itemize, it was not going to be very beneficial. So I wanted to make sure that I could help fund that. So at the end of the day, I started partnering with Manna Relief. I said, hey, how much would it cost me to feed a child for 28 days? And they said it would be $2. And so I'm like, are you kidding me? $2. Like I could
Wow.
feed a child for 28 days for $2. And they said yes. So I then read the tax code. I figured out if I gave from a gross income level instead of giving from a net income level, which is what most businesses do, they give after what's left over. If you give from a gross income, you can connect and combine your passion and your profits, but it's also 100% tax deductible. So that was a huge part for me. I wanted to let our clients know what we were doing. I wanted them to be able to say, you know what? Courtney, not only did she save me this much money in taxes, but this year we had her prepare our tax return. Let's just say it was $1,000. Not only did she prepare our return and saved us $5,000, but we also fed 1,000 children along the way. And, I wanted to be able to share that story with people and connect truly what they were doing to be a part of OTB Tax. And so in the last 2 years, we started that process in April 16th of 2018. We've been able to provide 2.1 million servings of food to children in need all over the world in 90 different countries. It's my goal. I don't have a money goal. I have a people goal. I have a children goal, like how many children I want to impact. And our next step, we're up to about 9,000 children a day, every day now, that we actually feed through our accounting practice. And the next goal is 50,000. Like if I won't sleep very well until we get to 50,000 servings a day. Obviously, we got to make $50,000 a day in order to do that. But if we're making that kind of money, the massive impact that we'll have in freeing up money for people in taxes is instrumental. So then the second one that came along on February 29th. Tony Robbins, I'm a platinum partner with Tony Robbins. He completely and utterly changed my life. If you get a chance to go to an event, go. I will tell you it's amazing. But I went, actually, I thought there was something wrong with my business. And I found out that there was actually something wrong with me. I was like, how could there be anything wrong with me? And that was the problem. I was the problem, not my business. So I fixed me, and that in turn fixed everything else. But Operation Underground Railroad is very near and dear to my heart. Their whole purpose is to eradicate sex trafficking. And, I didn't know a whole lot about sex trafficking, but here's what I do know. Every 6 seconds, a child dies of malnutrition. And that's expected to grow to 6,000 children a day between now and the end of the year because of the economy. On top of that, every 30 seconds, a child goes into sex trafficking. And now you can actually buy a child in a third world country for $10,000 to harvest their organs. And I have a major problem with that. And so I went to an event February 29th, and I actually met the founder of that nonprofit, Tim Ballard. I met some of the children that he's actually freed through sex trafficking. And I felt like it was OTB Tax's responsibility to not only help provide nourishment to every single person that they have freed, every single child that they've freed through sex trafficking, which is 5,600 children at this point in 26 different countries. I committed to doing that. So we have to make more money. So we have to feed, because we have to feed more children. So not only are we giving to Manna Relief, but about 7% off the top. So every dollar is a serving that we provide. With Operation Underground Railroad, it cost about $1,200 to free a child through sex trafficking. And so for every 25,000 we bring in, which is about every 3 days, we're freeing a child from sex trafficking. And that has been amazing. I'm actually going in 2 weeks to meet Tim Ballard, and we're going to do a whole event on social business and teaching other businesses to do exactly what we're doing right now. And then the third one is a company called The Last Whale. And and it's WELL for those of you. Yes, I do realize I have a very bad country accent. I have not figured out how to fix that. So I'm just going to spell. I'm not saying WHALE as in a whale in the ocean. I'm saying the last whale as in a drinking whale, WELL. And what they've done is the only nonprofit in the world that's ever provided a border-to-border initiative in an entire country. And so they've gone in for the last 11 and a half years. They've put in a drinking well in almost every village. They're about $500,000 left to finish the funding to finish out all of these wells. And so they will have impacted 5.2 million people. 2.6 million of those people are under the age of 15 and provided safe drinking water in the country of Liberia. And so what we've done to connect with them is for every $150 that you end up coming with us, so every dollar you spend with us, you're going to nourish a child. For every $150, you're going to provide safe drinking water for a person for the next 15 years. So it costs $4.58 to provide safe drinking water for a person for 15 years. And then on top of that, for every 25,000 that you spend with us, then you'll free a child. So it's just been truly amazing. Like we're providing safe drinking water to about 1,600 people. So that's 3 villages a month, which is amazing. And then the other aspect is we're freeing about 10 children every single month. And so, I obviously want to grow that. So it's a people scale. It's an impact. What do we want to do to impact the world? And, I truly believe if we can get 100 other businesses to do exactly the same thing that we've done with our accounting practice, they'll see growth like they've never seen before, because we were doing, almost 15,000 a month when the first month that we did this, we didn't have the money to give. Like the check would have bounced. I gave about $800 to Sam Castor, the founder of Manna Relief, and we didn't have the extra money. And I said, you know what? We're going to figure it out. I committed to doing this. I wanted to change these children's lives. And the next week, the IRS actually sent us a check for $25,000 that we've been waiting on for 3.5 years. And then the next month, we gave like 22,000 servings. And then we got a $5,000 gift from a family member. It was crazy. And then, and to top that off, this year I was super, I've never spent $25,000 at one time, other than just to buy a house, and that was just, we got a loan and we put down some money on a house. But this year, February 29th, we gave 25,000 that day to Operation Underground Railroad. We committed to give another 25,000. And, we freed 20 children at that point, with the 25 grand. And it felt so amazing to do that. And my husband was not quite happy with me. And because he said, Courtney, we're giving enough. We're already giving a man relief. We're already doing all these things. And I said, no, we have to do it. And literally Monday, that was a Saturday we gave. I flew home on Sunday. And on Monday, had our biggest day ever. We made $28,300 that day. So it was like, okay, well, you can trust me with the money. I'm gonna give it right back to you plus interest. It's just super amazing what we're doing. And so my motto, and I'll stop talking. My motto is to teach more. So we've actually developed an entire tax school and education for anybody that has no understanding of taxes, bookkeeping, strategy. If they want to be a part of what we're doing, we want them to be, right? Because we need more people faster, really, really fast, because we got to feed more children really, really fast. So it's to teach more so that they can have more, so that they could then live more and then save more money. Then they can give more, then we can feed more, and then we can free more. And so that's our motto at OTB Tax.
Amazing. Amazing. Your journey of earning is really more about a journey of giving. Your journey
Yes.
about reinventing is about finding your heart. At the Reinvented Life, that's all we talk about. It's not always about changing. It's finding who is your authentic self. And what is your authentic self can you give? Those gifts you're giving are only so good when they're out there because it gives people an opportunity to receive them. As you yourself said, you're an award-winning author. You're an award-winning speaker. I know you're on your second book. I know you help people by just getting involved, even just with a home-based business for the tax advantages alone. What you're able to do. I love your book. I love it because it's so simple, easy to read. How do people find your book? Tell them real briefly as we close out here about your second book that you're just releasing now and where they can find you.
So the best way to get in contact with me is to text the number 855 949 1829, and you can just text tax, TAX. And what that's going to do for you, it'll give you a booking link to book a tax strategy session if you want to. Right now, they're $99 for a 30-minute tax strategy session. We're just going to try to find you money. And that's all we're going to do. We're going to look at your returns prior year, and we're going to say, this is what you should have done. This is what we could do. If you want us to go backwards and do it, this is what you should do moving forward. And this is what you should do today. And then we give you our prices for us to do it. And then we let you go on your way. So if you decide you want to do business with us, that's amazing. You will help impact, thousands and thousands of lives, I hope, through us. But also, you can just take that information and go, prepare your own tax return if that's what you want to do. The other thing that you're going to get with that text is a free copy of my book, More Relaxing, Less Taxing. So because my second book is coming out, you can go there and order the ebook for free. So it doesn't cost you anything. And I think you can pay shipping and get the actual book if you want to do that. And then the third thing, it actually gives you the information for a deduction spreadsheet. So I've developed over the last 15 years this deduction spreadsheet, super easy for business owners to be able to figure out, and especially home-based business owners to figure out what deductions that they can take advantage of. So just text tax to 855-949-1829. And you asked me one more question. Oh, what my new book. So my new book is actually Yes, it's actually a prospecting tool to teach people why they have to be in the network marketing industry or the home-based business industry. Now, I'll tell you, I am not in any way affiliated with any network marketing company, but I love them. I would never have known about Tony Robbins had it not been for network marketing. I would not be where I'm at today if it wasn't for the amazing people that are inside the network marketing industry, because I've never had to spend a single dollar on advertising because they have just referred and referred and referred. So there's so many amazing reasons why you should be in a home-based business, and especially why you should have a network marketing business. But it's just a prospecting tool to teach people, what's your plan B? It's teaching them to think. Like, here's why you have to move from the system that was created to steal your wealth, which is the W-2 employee system, and move over into the system that was created to create wealth for you, to build wealth for you. And that's the business owner system. And it's just teaching that and helping you understand all the other amazing benefits. Not only are there great tax deductions, but you do find the greatest people. I think my very best friends are in the network marketing industry. And I just chose 3 years ago that I was going to step out of the industry to help the entire industry, because I didn't want to just help one company, one leader. I wanted to impact the masses, because I'll tell you, accounting's not that fun. Network marketing's fun. Having conversations, running your mouth is fun. So I just developed a system and I built an entire foundation around it. And then now we have 25 people doing the jobs that I hated doing every single day. And then I get to run my mouth for a living. So I really like it now.
Well, thank you so much. We're going to have you back. We want to hear more. Everyone, it is more relaxing, less taxing. I got that number down, 855-949-1829. Text the word tax to Courtney. Thank you, everyone. Reinvent your lives. Take your passions about what you want to do. Courtney wanted to give back, and she figured out a way to do it. Have a wonderful rest of the day. It's crazy. Be safe, make good decisions, and thank you, Courtney, for sharing your heart.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to The Reinvented Life with Pamela Chanel David. Tune in each week so we can work and grow together to become the best version of ourselves. Keep striving, keep dreaming, keep working, and embrace change. You may contact Pamela Chanel at info@thereinventedlife.com.